The way I like to think that you can enable innovation is by simply realizing that success is probably the biggest enemy that blocks innovation from happening.
Keynote speaker Jeremy Gucce energized attendees with his speech, Better and Faster, the proven path to unstoppable ideas. This is ATD TV. I'm Rachel Kopchak. Jeremy Gucce's motivational closing keynote addressed innovation. He says that's something companies struggle with and offered these solutions.
People tend to think of change and innovation as being something that is all about a giant eureka moment. And actually, most change is just little iterations on something that was done before. And as an example, no one person invents the iPhone. It's arguably a better BlackBerry. But the point is, you don't have to come up with something gigantic. All these little small steps you can encourage and empower in an organization are what helps innovation actually happen.
Probably one of the main things I learned about him was just the whole kind of disruption and just not settling for the status quo.
You know, he's got some really great core methods of going about innovation, and I think especially for younger professionals, you know, a millennial generation in the workforce, they don't have a lot of professional experience to innovate off of. And so this provides some great framework for them to be able to go and think about what they're doing right now and their current challenges and kind of walk through some steps.
Only at ATD can talent development professionals meet face-to-face with distinguished authors like Jeremy Gucce. It's an opportunity to ask questions and gain more insight on industry trends.
You have the opportunity to see somebody talk about their work, and it inspires you to want to get out there and do something bigger. And so to have the chance to meet them and say thank you for something that kind of touched you, I think is great.
Attendees hit the ground running on the last day of the Talent Development Education Program. They learned that interactive tools are not only effective, but can be fun.
Blue, let's hear from Blue. Let's hear you. You're gonna win.
Teamwork and gamification uncovered the secret to motivated learners. Attendees here learned techniques to create curiosity. Research shows curiosity prepares the brain for learning and long-term memory. The session allowed attendees to generate their own ideas for creating curiosity.
Working with my instructors to get a question, a provocative question that I send out to participants before training to get them thinking about it.
Here are some other ideas. Announce a guest speaker, but don't say who it is. Use tactile and colorful objects, and use a fill-in-the-blank workbook. In the leadership development track, attendees learn the purpose effect, which is all about creating meaning for employees. Speaker Dan Pontefract says if an employee doesn't feel like they have purpose, it will ultimately impact the entire organization. A good leader can help change this and fuel a more engaged workplace.
So my personal purpose, my declaration is, we're not here to see through each other, we're here to see each other through. And if more leaders helped employees have that statement, one or two lines that sort of help them, guide them to their North Star of who they are, what they are, and how they're supposed to be and act every day, I think that really can help both that individual, the team, but also the organization in whole.
He says leaders should also pivot their mindset away from profit, focus more on serving customers. Also, engage with your employees and serve the community. Doing this will bring profit in the end. The opportunities to learn at the ATD Conference and Exposition extend beyond the education program and happen right here on the expo floor.
I've seen a lot of the more mobile, the mobility, the technology, the use of, what is it called, the micro-learning technology kind of platforms, which is where everybody's going. So that's very useful in today's, it's right with where we need to be.
I tried a virtual reality headgear. That was really cool.
In the career development track, attendees learned that the skills gap can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. With all of the changes in technology and innovation, professionals in career development need to be prepared. The most important thing to do is you have to take the time and assess where you are with your talent and determine what are the gaps. Then you can develop them.
Analyzing the gaps usually requires some work with the community. It requires work with the HR department. Sometimes the workforce projections can tell you. If you work closely with your local workforce board, they have an amazing amount of data that you can get for free that can tell you what are the trends, what are the projections.
Yes. Get your clients engaged with storytelling. That's the advice from this training delivery session. Attendees practiced basic story structure and learned about the craft model. The model outlines essential elements of a story, which are characters, relationships, action, feeling, and takeaways. Thinking about these elements in your own course design are sure to motivate and inspire learners. Attendees gained knowledge, solutions, and strategies to effectively train talent development professionals. They are best practices that leaders can use when they go home.
Really how to embrace the culture of millennials. And so from that, I've already started working on developing a young professional network piece for that, for our culture club that we have, that we just recently introduced at our organization.
A lot of the sessions I've been attending this time around have been around change, but that change context thing really stood out for me. Start thinking about more, and like, how do you frame it for folks so they understand better?
It has opened my eyes to my own potential as far as looking, seeing with different eyes than I did before I came.
I think a real fun takeaway was dancing with Ken Blanchard and getting a big hug yesterday. In my environment, I deal with a lot of frontline employees, so a lot of the guest service things I've been taking, ways to re-energize your staff, have really been standing out.
I think that the neuroscience especially was really good about how we take in information, how we process information, and how we're not very good at change, but there are ways of adapting to it to make it easier for us.
Here at ATD 2016 in Denver, there were quite a few top takeaways, including to be a courageous leader, you have to be vulnerable, and innovation requires change. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next year.
Yes, I will be, and I can't wait. This is the second time I get to go to Atlanta.
Be in Atlanta, yes, 2017, that's right.
Nos vemos en Atlanta el próximo año.
ATD and ATL coming together.